Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Joshua Bridwell Show. Honestly, this is not an episode that I ever intended to make. I was on a phone call with a friend just talking about things that have happened in this country over the last couple of days. And he said, Man, I think you should just sit down in front of a microphone and share what you just shared with me because I think it's a message that the country needs to hear right now. For those that don't know what's been happening in this country, a few days ago, I say a few days ago, I found out it was actually late August, where there was a woman who was attacked on a train in North Carolina. Yesterday, there was an incident where there were school shootings at a school in Denver. And then also there was the assassination of right-wing activist Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. There may have been other things that are happening, and I genuinely apologize if I'm leaving those things out. I don't typically get political on social media. I don't get political on my podcast. I never really know who's listening, but I think that this message is extremely important. I told you I don't typically, get political in any capacity, but on social media yesterday, I posted a condolence regarding Charlie Kirk. And I said, regardless of your political affiliation, the fact of the matter is that a man of God, a husband, a father of two children, was killed. May the man who pulled the trigger come to have a transformational experience with God. Prayers for the family, friends, and all of those grieving the loss of Charlie Kirk. When I woke up this morning, I had a message on Facebook about that. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but ultimately it was a how can you make a post about Charlie Kirk, but yet you wouldn't make a post about the children or about what happened in North Carolina. Do you just not care about those people? And that's not true at all. In fact, my heart, my thoughts, my prayers go out to those that were involved and impacted across the multiple tragedies in our country over the last couple of days. But something in the message made me want to respond. Most of the time, I don't even respond if somebody, sends me a negative comment or reaches out just spewing negativity. But there was something in this message. It said, sorry, I'm looking for it at the moment. It's not even that long of a message. Why can't I find it? Oh, it says, there are two words that made me want to respond to this message. And those two words were your God. The reason that really grinded my gear is it was a reminder that this is not a matter of politics. This is a matter of spirit. We live in a country that is far from God. There are some churches, I won't deny, that there are some churches that are far from God, teaching false doctrines. And if, Paul was alive today, they'd definitely be getting a letter. But we need to have a correct understanding of a couple of things spiritually that I think will make a huge impact in the country today. We've been told, or at least I've been told, that as a Christian, we shouldn't judge. We shouldn't judge other people. And that's not true. That is not scripturally accurate. In fact, we've been given a spirit of discernment. when we are talking about not judging, there are certain types of judgments that we are not supposed to do. Number one is matters of the heart. It's not our job to determine whether somebody has Jesus in their heart or not, as far as whether they're going to heaven, whether they're going to hell. It is also not our job, according to John chapter 7, verse 24, to judge on appearances and superficial things. But also in John chapter 7, verse 24, it says, but instead judge correctly. It is our job as Christians to judge one another. And Jesus gave us a great commissioning. For those that don't know what the Great Commissioning is to go and make disciples among nations. And in order to do that, that's going to require uncomfortable conversations. That's going to require intentional course correction. But we don't do that. And we don't do that because we have this wrong definition of what love is. And we need to look at that. Scripturally, there are two different words that are used to describe love, or rather, there are two types of love. We get these mixed up all the time. I'll be honest, I don't remember what the terms are off the top of my head, but I do know the definitions. One of the definitions is a passion, it's a feeling. The second type of love is a value. We have been taught as Christians growing up that we should love our neighbor as ourselves. And this has come to grow into, okay, well, how I feel is how I want other people to feel. I want other people to feel happy, or I want to feel happy, so I need to make sure that other people are happy. And that is very much a love that is based on feeling and passion rather than a value. I value myself. I value my life. I value my family, my morals so much that I'm going to value other people's as well. It's a value-based relationship, not a feeling-based relationship. I value myself. I value other people. Relationships, marriages, friendships, they are not a feeling. They're not a passion. They're a value. We can see this in society today with relationships and marriages. As soon as the feeling of excitement and attraction and affection and this big vision of what the future could look like, as soon as all of that goes away, the relationship fades because it's based on the wrong kind of love. We have to define the correct type of love. I love my friends. I value my friends. And I'm going to use a financial analogy here. If you take $1,000 and you put it in the stock market, each and every day, do you hope that just stays at the exact $1,000? Of course not. You want it to grow. You want it to get better. So the longer you hold on to relationships, whether that is a romantic relationship, whether that's a marriage, whether that's a friendship, the longer you hold on to that relationship, the more valuable you want it to be. We have to help each other increase in value, and we ourselves have to also be willing to increase in value. And we do that by having the hard conversations. We as a country right now are a country feeling really divided. We are a country that feels really disconnected. We are grieving. But there are two things that I think will really help this country. Number one, we need to be a country full of individuals that are seeking a genuine, real relationship with God. And number two, we have to use the right definition of love. We have to stop walking on eggshells. We have to start addressing the issues with care, compassion, and love and value for one another. But love doesn't mean that I'm going to let you do whatever it is that you want. Love is I'm going to value you so much. You have to be willing to have the hard conversations and also have the hard conversations had to you. There's no such thing as tough love. It's just love. You need to know that. You need to recognize that. I'm going to be praying for each and every one of you. I'm going to be praying for all of those that are affected and grieving over the things that have happened in our country over the last week. But we as a country need to stand up. We need to love and value one another. We have to sharpen one another as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. I'm going to hold you to that. As a country, do better. We have to do better. We have to call each other to a higher standard. That's what you deserve. That's what those in your life deserves, and that's what your country deserves. So this has been another episode of the Joshua Bridwell Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tune in next time. Let's grow.